Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Nice to see you guys all again from wherever you are all around the world. Welcome. I'm going to talk about something today I think is kind of interesting. It's actually very interesting to me, and it affects all of us, and it's something that is so important to our lives that we overlook it and don't even know that it's a part of our lives or has any influence or is affecting us. And that's the different growth cycles that we have in our lives that begin, that follow us our whole lives. And it's not till later in life that we begin to have a sense of it, and although we can't really define it too well, perhaps. But I want to talk about mainly, to begin with, is the comfort zone. Our comfort zones that we find ourselves in, that we strive for and we achieve because it seems to be the thing to do. It's the most natural state of being that we want to be in because it is comfortable. There's no stress. It's enjoyable. It's a period where things are going well. We are starting to, when you grow up, you begin to acquire things after college or school or whatever it happens. You know, your first job, you start to gain some materialism, and that's what you really strive for and you enjoy. But the perils of being in the comfort zone too long is what I want to talk about today. And it affects all of us, like I said. And I'll just tell you in my story, when I was right out of college at Sacramento State, I looked around Sacramento for a job and didn't see anything there that was interesting or enjoyable to me. Of course, I didn't really know what I was looking for. I just didn't feel right about it there. So I headed off down to Los Angeles, where I landed a job at NBC in Burbank, and was on staff there for 3 years. And while I was there, I became very comfortable. I started to acquire things. I bought my first home down there in Burbank. I had a beautiful car, a couple cars, Jaguar, and other nice things, and clothes and girlfriends and all that. And was on the other hand, though, I was working 16 hours a day, so I really didn't enjoy that part of it. And that was probably the worst of it, was that my life was being sucked out of me. After 3 years, I just couldn't take the same repetitive routine of working 5, 6 days, 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day, the same people every day. And there's nothing really wrong with them, but it's just the fact of being with the same people, the same location, the same places for lunch. The repetitiveness just really got to me, and some people can take that, but I just couldn't do it. But even to this day, what is it, maybe 40 years later now, there's some of the same people that I began working with that are still there. And I've seen them, and they seem to be doing okay, but it doesn't look too exciting or enthusiastic. They don't seem that enthusiastic about life because they're still stuck there. But that's what they want to do, and that's okay. But by being in the comfort zone too long, your world can become very small and starts to close in on you. And I believe it's a very unnatural state. It is natural to be in the comfort zone, but not for too long a period. And then you need to push yourself out into what's called the complexity zone, where that's where you do most of your growth, your real growing. Because when you're in the same old, month after month, year after year, you find yourself becoming, I see this in a lot of people, they become very opinionated. They have the same group of friends that believe the same things they believe, and the world shrinks so much. They have the same politics as their friends, and they get into the narratives, they're drawn into narratives. They watch too much television because it's part of their routine. They watch the evening news, which, as we know, the YouTubers know that that's the media that we don't follow the media anymore. We don't watch television except for movies. We like movies. But you don't want to get drawn into that. But a lot of things happen when you're in the comfort zone too long. You become very stagnant. You start to just have this in the mode of stagnation, where you're spiritually you're dying, and physically even it can affect your health. You've lost your enthusiasm. But for me, after 3 years of being on staff there at NBC, I just couldn't take it, and a memo went out to all the employees stating that if you wanted to be laid off, that they would be willing to pay severance pay. So I was the first one to raise my hand when I heard that one, and that's exactly what I did. I volunteered, and I was laid off. I got my severance pay, and I went up north and built my very first home, and that was very exciting. And from there I built many other homes as well, and lived in them and enjoyed my life fully. And I no longer was stuck working in the studios. But I did, being part of the union I was in, I was able to freelance, and I freelanced for the next 30 years to receive my pension. So I freelanced and worked about 6 months a year on average, and then did what I want the other 6 months. So that's how I live my life. But I want to share with you guys in detail, which is really well defined, the growth rings, which are something that you can teach your kids, and it's something to be aware of for yourself. So when you find yourself becoming too stagnant, and it's happened to me many times in my life, I find myself becoming too stagnant, I push myself out of the comfort zone. For instance, when I I had a beautiful home I lived in, and it was just, after a while, the same place, the same neighbors, the same everything. I just sold it and would go off and go back to the studios and work for a while, and then come back up and build another another house for me to live in. But eventually I ended up selling them all one by one over the years. But that gave me the variety I needed, and the new places to be, the new places to go, new people to meet, new skills to learn. So that was very valuable for me to know. But back then I knew this was happening, and I was aware of it, but I didn't know in detail about these growth periods. So I'm sharing them with you guys, and I'm going to show you this that I think you guys will get something out of. It's from a TED Talk by the guy named Bill Ekstrom, who really defined it well, and I'm going to share it with you guys. This is it right here. Okay, these are the growth rings of your life. So this can really help. Here is where you don't want to be, but it happens sometimes. You want in chaos. Okay, you have chaos at the top. That's where you don't want to be. This happens when, say, for instance, maybe you're drafted, and when they used to have a draft, or someone in the family dies, or you're uprooted for some unknown reason, or you have maybe some illness. This is a chaos, but you want to move into one of these two zones as the preferred zones to be in. This is the one that most people are stuck in, the comfort zones, where they have their material items. That's very dangerous, because then your mind, you start to think really small if you just all you care about is materialism and the same people, impressing people and stuff like that. Or you're there too long. There is a time to be in this zone when you're trying to just enjoy life and not think too hard. But after a while, it's natural for us to want to move out of this zone into the complexity zone. That's where you have your most growth. That's the exciting time. This is where you relax, right here. Now, this is the bad part. Yeah, low growth is stagnation. I've been in stagnation before, and I hated it. I'm sure that many of you are in stagnation right now, which is why you're looking at moving to the Philippines or whatever. You're doing something, you want to do something exciting with your life, because it seems like life doesn't mean anything where you are, because you've been there too long doing the same old. So I hope you guys enjoy this and get something out of it. I'll put a link to this, to the video here. There's a video Bill Ekstrom did on a TED Talk. I think you really enjoy it. So I hope that helps, like I say, and you guys take it easy and don't stay in that comfort zone too long. We're moving out of our comfort zone here shortly, in about 2 weeks. We'll be headed back to San Francisco, back to Reno, and don't know where we're going to stay yet. Well, pretty much have an idea, but we don't own a home anymore. Our stuff's in storage, so we're going to be winging it. But we're going to be definitely in the complexity zone. But I've been there many times. It doesn't worry me. Take care, you guys. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is...
Are you guys in your comfort zone?
Yes, we are in our comfort zones.
Yeah. You're definitely not in the complexity zone.
No.
But you will be in a couple weeks. It'll be fun.
Yeah, but we're gonna find another comfort zone pretty soon.
Funny.
But it's fun, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you stay in the comfort zone for too long, it's kind of boring. So you have to find another one. But we'll be back too.
We'll fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show. And